This is Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Subaru.
All right, final night game of the 2012 campaign for the Cubs as they get ready to face the Houston Astros. Northsiders have gone 10-19 this year under the lights to friendly confines. First pitch comes your way at 7:05 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to Subaru Cubs Pregame Live along with Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Cubs coming off a 3-0 loss to the Astros last night, a game in which they managed just 2 measly hits. It was loss number 100 for Chicago, the first time they've lost that many games since 1966. And tonight, we'll have teams that both have lost 100 games, meeting for the first time in baseball in 50 years.
That's not pretty. This isn't a game that too many people are going to, unless you're a diehard, tune into. I mean, it's a game around the National League that's not probably drawn a whole lot of interest. It is unique in that you've got 206 losses on the field, and I will say this, you've got 2 ball games left. Cubbies, go out there, play your hearts out, and walk away from the season with a good taste in your mouth. Because I'll tell you right now, it hasn't been a good taste in your mouth. You look at what Lucas Harrell did last night, and you're getting a little glimpse of it right there. It was not fun to watch, and I'm sure it wasn't any more fun to participate in. Dominated, only 2 hits last night, and you want to go out swinging the bats pretty well. You want to go into your offseason with something good in your mind that you can build off of.
All right, for more on tonight's ballgame, let's go out to our Luke Stuckmeyer at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Luke, 100-loss season, never fun. What was the buzz before the game?
Well, pretty quiet in the clubhouse, Cap. I think these players are ready for the offseason to start. You know, the last couple of weeks, they've really been playing to try and not lose 100 games this season. They didn't want to hit that mark, and now that they have hit the dreaded century mark, it's something that won't sit well with them all winter long.
Not many people around here have been through this many losses in a season, and just serve as motivation. You know, it's a very stark baseline of where we are and how much improvement we need to make.
The whole season serves as motivation. You know, when you're not doing well and, you know, you're getting your butt kicked around the field here a couple times, you know, it's got to be a wake-up call personally to say, you know, we need to fix something, and because ultimately, you know, you're out there to win games, and that's what it's all about, and there's definitely got to be a little chip on your shoulder about getting that done. So it's not the way it ended. It's not really anything particular. It's as a whole that we didn't finish where we wanted to finish, you know, which is independent race and competing for the playoffs.
I think it's the beginning of the story of how we, you know, become who we want to become. And, you know, a few years down the line when we're a winning team and we're, you know, winning closer to 100 games and losing, you know, what our win record was this year, I think that'll be, you know, an interesting part of the story and something we'll look back on and be proud of where we came from.
Dale Swain points out that this offseason and long-term plan for the Cubs provides a great opportunity for the young players in the organization. Take advantage of that, or somebody else will. Brett Jackson hopes he can learn and grow from his first big league experience.
There is quite a bit that I'd like to see him, you know, completely, you know, revamp his swing and you know, lower half and. You know, a lot of things, but they're not things that you're asking somebody to stand on their head about. You know, there's been players in this game that have made drastic, you know, adjustments in this game, and it's propelled to some of them to Hall of Fame stature, to long careers in the big leagues, but. You know, I'll go to my grave saying, you know, if you don't make any adjustments in this game, you ain't going to stay here very long.
I wasn't overwhelmed by, you know, being in the big leagues, playing in front of fans, playing in front of the best fans in baseball. So in that sense, it was very valuable getting my feet wet and, you know, taking a lot into the offseason that will be valuable going into next year.
Now, the players are well aware that this is a rebuilding process. It's a possibly long-term thing, but I like what Jeff Samardzija told me tonight before the game. He said, you know, we know this is a rebuilding and we hear that word, but as a player, you can't go into the offseason feeling that. You've got to go after it. Otherwise, it's just destined that you're not going to win next season. He's going to work hard this offseason, and in his mind, it's a fresh start when they get to spring training. Live Wrigley Field, Luke Stuckmeyer. Cap, will send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Luke. Luke will have a report on the postgame as well. Let's take a look at tonight's pitching matchup, Holly, because Bud Norris has given the Cubs some fits earlier this year down in Houston. He was filthy.
Yeah.
He gets the start. Chris Volstad, who has had just an awful year, will pitch for the Cubs.
Chris Volstad, go back to what the Open was all about. You got an opportunity, young man, go out there and make the most of it. That's the best advice I can give you, and don't give it away. Don't just look at this as being your last opportunity. Look at this as, I'm going to do some things that hopefully will open up some eyes. It's going to be hard to put the win-loss record, the high earn run average behind anybody, but if you finish up strong and you put it there, at least you create some opportunity, maybe for yourself in the organization, maybe somewhere else. You never know who's watching and who's got their eyes on you, so whenever you get the opportunity at the major league level, you got to go out there and give it your best effort.
Time now for the Comcast Business Edge. We look at Bud Norris. Comcast Business Edge is sports at the speed of business. Norris is 6-13. This season will be his fourth start against the Cubs this year. His previous 3 outings, 1 and 2 with a .551, but down in Houston, he was filthy. We'll see if he brings that tonight. When he's on, the other day, he took a no-no into the 6th. He is very tough.
He has had a Jekyll and Hyde year. He will fool the living daylights out of you. His numbers tell the whole story. 6-13, 4 with a .482. Now his last start, he went 7 1/3 against the Cardinals. 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks. 2 starts before that, 10 2/3 innings, 10 earned runs. Same thing against the Cubs this year. Amazing. 7 innings in Houston, nothing. Crickets, 8 Ks, dominated them. The other 2 starts, 6 home runs combined for the Cubs. So they've got some history there, and hopefully they will bust out tonight against Bud Norris and get that offense going. It's been scuffling a lot lately.
All right, Dale Swaim is running out a familiar lineup today. David DeJesus will get to start and lead off. Barney at second, Rizzo at first, Sori in left, Castro at short, Valbuena over at third, Castillo's catching, Jackson gets to start in center, and Volstad, the pitcher.
I'm going to keep my eyes on Brett Jackson tonight. I've got a pretty good feel for most of the games of the other guys in the lineup. Make your opinion on who you think they are, what their kind of season they had, and probably how they project out as a Cub in the future. But Brett Jackson, still a little bit up in the air. Love his ability, love his talent, love his athleticism, but I think Dale Swaim hit it on the head when you talk about having to make adjustments at the major league level. They've come in at times, but it's taken long periods for him to get through it. You think of when he got here, the struggles that he had, all the strikeouts, that he gave you a little glimpse, a 2-week period right there where he started to figure it out, was taking his walks. You started to see the long ball a little bit, and he looked like he was comfortable, and then he got hurt and missed some more time, and he's been out of there. And you got to the games that meant something for the Cubs here in September against other teams that were in the playoff chase. He was nowhere to be found, so that's not a good sign. He's got the opportunity tonight, so hopefully he gets some things done.
All right, here's the Houston Astros lineup, and they'll have their best player right at the top. It's Jose Altuve at second. Moore, Martinez, who had a homer yesterday. Dominguez, Wallace, Castro, Maxwell, Green, and Bud Norris handling the pitching. But Martinez, he's hit home runs lately, 3 of them, and he is showing some power.
Yeah, 3 straight homers coming into this. The 2 guys in that lineup, and you seen Dominguez leapfrog Brett Wallace there. He was a little bit lower in the lineup. Why? Because he's been swinging the bat well and has swung the bat well against the Cubs. So the 3-4 combination are the 2 hot hitters. Again, probably most people not too familiar with them, as most Houston Astros are to most National League ball clubs, because they're very young and they're trying to get better. But again, they're going to fight all the way to the end. You're going to see them probably try to put together good at-bats, get creative, hit and run, do some things. They're not a team that even here at game 161 is just going to stand up there, wail and bail, and hope to win a ball game. They're going to try to execute tonight.
All right, we have to take our first time out here on the show. When we come back, we'll look at the National League playoff picture. Plus, there have been a lot of young faces at Wrigley in 2012. But how many of those players will make an impact in 2013 at Wrigley Field? We'll discuss.
It's not every day you find a companion as loyal as a Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Training can't wait. Collaboration can't wait. The data of sports demands a new breed of speed. Comcast Business Class. Ethernet speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. Add bandwidth as you need it. A secure, reliable network. Because business can't wait to be at the top of its game. Don't wait. Call 800-501-6000 today and switch to Comcast Business Class.
The more you floor, the more you save. Buy one room of flooring, get all other rooms of product for only $50 each. At Luna, we work for you.
773-202 Luna.
I look good, I look good, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, I look good, come on. Right, come on. I look good,
We fight fires together. We become a family. This family, everybody comes home.
Chicago Fire premieres October 10th on NBC5 Chicago.
So we're between this and the Honda Pilot. This comes with a rear-view camera, right?
No, you'd need to upgrade to our cubic zirconia package.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Does this have Bluetooth?
That'll be an upgrade to our Titanic Perfection package.
Another upgrade.
Yeah.
Does it seat 8?
Our Ultimate Opulence package does.
Why should we pay extra for stuff that comes standard on the Pilot?
Do you have any idea how selfish you sound right now?
Only a Honda is a Honda.
All right, there it is, Wrigley Field. The Cubs are planning to add 56 seats right behind home plate by moving the wall 3 feet closer to the field. Team plans to rebuild the current wall once the new seats are in place. They've done this once before. Plan must be approved by the Chicago Commission on Landmarks, which meets on Thursday. Welcome back to Subaru Cubs pregame live. Alongside Todd Hollinsworth, I'm David Kaplan. Okay, if they do that, it means you pop one up behind the plate. There's a much better chance by 3 feet being cut off that it's going to end up in the seats. But I'll tell you what, a wild pitch, a pass ball, there are going to be some wild ricochets.
Well, there already is, and I think about it now. You're going to have 2 or 3, and we've seen them, just, balls that get away with the velocity that, guys now, 94, 95 miles an hour, two hops in the dirt and off that wall. You might see a ball get all the way back to the mound. Matter of fact, I bet you do. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how base runners are able to approach it. As I was telling you, Old Dodger Stadium, the one I grew up in, the surroundings were staged that way. The backstop, was so far back, 50 feet back there, almost 50 feet back there, that you were thinking 2 bases on a pass ball. So, I mean, it changed the game. It factored into it. So, again, this will be preparation. It'll be interesting to see what aggressive base runners will use this to their advantage. In Dodger Stadium, it's exactly what we would do. If you were on first base, you saw that wild pitch, you were thinking third unless the catcher was able to make an incredible play, because the throw, not only did he have to get to the ball, but he had to make an incredibly long throw to third base. So you would get 2 bases on a wild pitch. So it can change the game, and a lot of times it'll factor in. So it'll see if it does play.
All right, the one thing I would recommend to the Cubs, if you're looking to make more room for seats to raise more revenue because you're in a small ballpark, where the well is and left and right, bring those portions in the corners in so the wall is even all the way around. You could add yourself a couple hundred more seats.
Oh, I think it's a fantastic idea, Cap. Every outfielder in the game.
And a few more home runs.
A few more home runs, but I'll tell you, the outfielders, and I was one of them, appreciate your thoughts, because there's nothing worse than negotiating a curve in a spot where a lot of baseballs go. I mean, for me, it was right over my left shoulder, being in left field more times than not. That's a hard thing to negotiate. You're running back trying to catch a ball with the wind and the sun and the elements that we have here in Chicago at the same time. You do not have a level surface. Everywhere else, you can trust the wall. You know where it is. You count your steps, but it's different at Wrigley, and that's what the challenge is for outfielders. I used to, when I play here, watch to see if other outfielders from other teams would test it out, because those would be the guys that I would try to run on if they didn't know their surroundings. Certain places on that warning track are wider, some are shorter, and then you've got the curve. If they're not prepared for that, they're going to get burned.
All right, even before the season began, everyone knew 2012 would be a rebuilding year for the Cubs and Theo and Jed. With that in mind, the team brought up a lot of young players they hope will have an impact for years to come. Let's start with the young player who made the biggest impact. That's easy. That's Anthony Rizzo. So much hype surrounding this guy before he arrived at the big league club in late June. How would you grade his season?
Hey, easy A. He's still got some things to learn. He's got some things that he's going to have to live through. But, Cap, he's the face of the franchise right now. He certainly is the face of the offensive side. I'll give it to Jeff Samardzija, say, for the pitchers for now. But Anthony has come up. He's impressed. He's done everything that's been asked of him. He's made the adjustments. That's the big thing I was looking for. Admittedly, I guess to some extent, looking for some struggles because I wanted to see him bounce out of it, and he did just that. Went through the ups and downs of a major league season and saw and understands now what it takes. You put that together with his story from last year in the San Diego Padres. It's really an even better story. Anthony probably will be able to tell it to you best, but a lot of fun to watch him. And if you look at the tandem that we had in the middle of the lineup, the 3-4 combination for the last 2.5-3 months, it's been an awful lot of fun to believe that you have a chance to score some runs with a lefty-righty combination that's been getting it done this season.
All right, Brian LaHare was an all-star, but his batting is .257 now. He's driven in just 38 runs and has not gotten much playing time since Rizzo was called up. He did get some chances in the outfield, just didn't do much to drive in runs.
Yeah, it was a big thing. That's what they needed for him to be, was a big run producer. I will say this, he's given us some quality at bats in the pinch hitter role, and you know what, I do believe that he will get every opportunity to make this team. If he is in camp with the Cubs next year, maybe he's somewhere else. I don't know the circumstances, but there have been some big pitch hits by Brian LaHare this season, most recently in Arizona. So something to build off of. I mean, it wasn't the year that everybody was hoping for. You know, we saw what he did last year. We saw what he did this winter. Did he earn the opportunity? We all believed that we wanted it to be a fantastic story at an advanced age at the major league level. But you know what? It kind of just comes back to you are who you are. At some point, you start to define yourself and you start to become that. He's a big leaguer. I certainly believe he can hit at the major league level. But again, the question still, can he do it for 500 bats? Probably not.
All right, third baseman Josh Vitters has struggled at the plate batting. Just 113 with 33 Ks and 97 at bats. He did show some abilities at third from time to time, but just looks overmatched right now.
Overwhelmed. That's the word that really sticks out to me. The game was a little bit quicker than he was. Almost as though, I don't want to say unprepared, that's not really the right word, but when you start to see hitters, young hitters, swing aggressively early in the count when the struggles come, it's kind of a panic. It's a panic sign, and you started to see that from Josh Vitters, and his playing time went down. He's got some work to do, certainly, over the winter. Does he have a big league swing? I think he does. Does he have some power and certainly some athleticism? Does he have the ability to stay at the major league level? I think he will, but he's going to have to figure out the hitting, and unfortunately, it's the hardest part for an offensive player.
Dale Swaim said yesterday he's been very impressed with Wellington Castillo's progress behind the plate this season. And it's a young man who had Gio Soto blocking his way, but once he was traded to the Rangers, he has actually come in, and what I was told by some people on the team is they've been much more impressed with his ability to call a game the last couple months than they were early in the season.
Taking advantage of the opportunity. The only thing that concerns me with Wellington right now, and I'm not a catching expert, but I will say this, he's got to make sure he keeps his weight in check. It became an issue with Gio. He's got the same type, same build, same kind of power, and we saw it early. I like Wellington Castillo an awful lot. I hope he gets more of an opportunity. Yes, he has improved. He's gotten better. I would give him a B. I think he's done a fantastic job, all things considered. But keep an eye on that weight.
Dave Sapelt has been impressive in his 22 games as a Cub. He's made 15 starts in right field, and he's been okay defensively, but he's really showing the ability to hit.
I'll tell you, outside of a one base running blunder, I give him an A. I mean, he went from nothing to something. I mean, this is Dave Sapelt. Didn't really know what we were going to get. We've seen some speed, we've seen some instinct, we've seen the package, some power, some pop, driven in some big runs. I know it's a short sample size, but what more could he do with the opportunity? I think he's done everything that he possibly could do, and I think he's given himself a shot at a major league job next year.
4 of the 5 National League playoff spots have been filled now. The Nationals, Braves, Reds, Giants, all in the postseason. Cardinals on the verge of edging out the Dodgers for that second wild card spot. Who do you like in the postseason from the NL?
It's a great question. So many strengths, so many weaknesses. It's really hard to argue against what the Washington Nationals have done this year. It's the easy pick right now. I say that because even without Steven Strasburg, they have a fantastic rotation. They still have a 21-game winner in it. They have a fantastic bullpen and a really strong offense, and they've gone through it. Listen, the reason the story has been so easy for them is because when they've had the issues that the Washington Nationals have had to deal with, they've handled them. They've continued to win. They've continued to get it done. They're the position they're in right now because they've earned it. I got to say the Nationals are the favorite.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just like their pitching. I like the makeup of that team from the day they rolled into Wrigley to open the season. It's a really good baseball team, and if they had Strasburg, I would think they could win the World Series,
yeah.
But I like this club. American League MVP race, Cabrera versus Trout. Now, Cabrera may finish with the Triple Crown. Last time a Triple Crown was won was by Yaz in '67, and he did win the MVP. Ted Williams won twice the Triple Crown and didn't win the MVP. Mike Trout's my favorite player in all of baseball. It's not even close to watch. If I had a vote, it'd be very, very hard to determine who's getting it.
It is.
Trout's defense certainly gives him maybe an edge in the all-around category, but Miggy's numbers are filthy. What do you do?
War proves it out. Okay, all right, this is it, Caps. You know what? I'm glad you asked me the question today, because in the last 24 hours, you've given me the simplest answer of all. Well, I mean, both of these guys are franchise players. Both have had ridiculous seasons. Talented Trout, 20-year-old, doing what he's done for the Angels, and then Miggy Cabrera being Miggy Cabrera. Comes down to winning, Cap. Detroit Tigers are in, the Angels are out, and my vote goes there, and I just simply go right there because that's the easy answer. That's the one. It's so hard to debate these two because you can go... There's no right or wrong answer to this one. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, if Mike Trout wins this, I'm not going to lose a second of sleep over it. If Miguel Cabrera wins, I believe he should win. I believe that the importance of a number 3 hitter to a leadoff hitter, and I'll probably take heat for saying that anyway. It is what it is. But Miguel Cabrera, to me, has been a thunderous, potent bat in the middle of the Detroit lineup. I think, where would this team be without him? I look at the Angels and I think the same thing, but just slightly less, just because he's a leadoff hitter.
Okay, but Miggy Cabrera is terrible defensively. And if you look at Mike Trout, he's got a 395 OBP. Yeah. He's 48 of 52 in steals. He hits home runs, he drives in runs, he hits triples, and he's probably a Gold Glove center fielder.
There's no debating the point. I mean, what I go back to, he's also a leadoff hitter. Miguel Cabrera is the anchor for an entire team. He is what Albert Pujols is to the Angels. He is not Mike Trout hitting at the top of the lineup, seeing more fastballs as a leadoff hitter gets, understanding his, I mean, I can't sit here and even begin to try to argue against Mike Trout. All I can do is give you my opinion, and what I see is, simply put, the Tigers got themselves in, they won, and Miguel Cabrera, as I talked to Al Avila today, assistant general manager to the Detroit Tigers, he said, we are not in this position without Miguel Cabrera being Miguel Cabrera this year. To me, that wraps it up. I know it's coming from in-house, it's coming from the organization itself, but they're in the playoffs, the Angels are not, and I wipe my hands of it.
All right, very well said. It will be Chris Volstad taking on the Astros' Bud Norris tonight at the Confines. Coming up after a final timeout, we'll pick our key performers, and we'll get the always anticipated keys from Top. At this time, they're for 2013.
Today's business travel challenge, stop or non-stop. The other airlines versus Southwest. These businesswomen have long flights to their conference, but the other airlines contestant has a connecting flight. That's not good. She's got a Hub City layover. Look at the size of those delays. But the Southwest contestant is going all the way non-stop. Game, set, splash. Southwest flies more people non-stop in America than any other airline. Business travelers win with Southwest.
Humans. Even when we cross our T's and dot our I's, we still run into problems. Namely, other humans. Which is why at Liberty Mutual Insurance, auto policies come with new car replacement and accident forgiveness if you qualify. Visit a local Chicago office for details. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
The more you floor, the more you save. Buy 1 room of flooring, get all other rooms of product for only $50 each. At Luna, we work for you.
773-202 Luna.
I look good, right, I look good, right, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, right, I look good, right, come on. Right, come on. I look good, right.
Save big money during the Menards Oktoberfest sale. Light up your home with Sylvania. Energy-saving compact fluorescent flood bulbs last up to 8,000 hours and are designed for both indoor and outdoor use. $1.99 each. When tackling big cleaning jobs, messes seem smaller with Livman. This roller mop keeps your floors looking great and features a tear-resistant sponge, plus an easy pull-to-ring handle. Right now, only $7.99.
Save big money at Menards.
So it's between this or the Honda Civic next door.
Okay, done. This one. They say the Civic is the best-selling car in its class. It's possible.
It also has this cool econ button that helps maximize fuel efficiency.
Oh yeah, this car has a lot of buttons. Get a defrost button, radio button, cruise control button, window button, wiper button, trunk button, super button, buttons inside of buttons, buttons controlling other buttons.
We're just interested in the econ button.
That's one button. This is a car with many buttons.
The Civic from Honda. 39 mpg highway and a way to help you make the most of it. Only a Honda is a Honda.
Earlier today at Wrigley Field, Cubs President Theo Epstein surprised some local students with college scholarships. Scholarships were awarded to the Sun Life Rising Star Awards program, which invested over $100,000 in grants and scholarships this year. Epstein also gave the winners a VIP tour of the ballpark. All right, since this is our final pregame show of the season, Todd's Subaru keys will be keys to success for the Cubs in 2013.
You like that first one, don't you? We talked about this yesterday, base running. We've seen a lot of mistakes. These are areas, Cap, 3 keys for me that are going to make a team better, and it's not based on free agent moves or this, that, or the other, things that have to happen, things that we've watched this year that I still think this team needs to improve on. Base running, number 1, right off the top. You mentioned it yesterday. We've seen the mistakes. We've seen the bad base running, the outs at third base, running into outs, not knowing how many outs there were, some mistakes. Got to clean it up, and this is an easy thing to clean up. This is fundamental baseball. This isn't talent. This isn't working on your speed, going out and running wind sprints all season long. It's understanding the game of baseball, understanding the situations, and preparing yourself. Number 2, situational hitting. Still struggling with this a little bit, although I will say there's been some improvements. What I'm talking about is runner on second base. We've seen line drives to short, line drives to third, and you're thinking, well, that was a good at bat. He hit the ball hard. No, you got to understand the game itself. Worst case scenario is I'm getting the guy to third, no matter what the circumstances are. Unless it's a blowout, 10-2 in the 8th, 9th inning, I understand what you're talking about, but we've got to get better as a team. The team has got to do a much better job understanding situational hitting, what they're looking to do, and putting together at-bats that make sense for the moment. And finally, this is the one that really sticks with me because we saw an awful lot of this year, and I think that 100-loss season is really, to me, summed up in number 3 is pitching with the lead. Cap, I've seen a lot of issues with this. We've seen it over the last road trip in which we've only won 1 game on the West Coast. 3 or 4 leads I saw, giving it right back. Starting pitching had its moments where they were good, kept them in ball games. The offense picked itself up at times, but collectively, one area that you have to understand is pitching in 1-run ball games and making pitches and pitching with a lead, understanding what necessitates what's going on behind those pitches. Leadoff walks, back-to-back homers, mistakes, 3-1 counts right after you get a lead. These are all things that have just got to stop. Really, you want to be aggressive, need to be more aggressive, and you're looking for more improvement.
Key performers, you get to go first. We're tied, folks.
Dave DeJesus, one more time.
I'm going to go with Starlin Castro. We'll see who wins for the season. Thank you for watching Subaru Cubs Pregame Live. Holly and I back for the postgame show live from Wrigley. Enjoy that game, everybody.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Subaru. Discover what it's like to have a car you can love.
It's not every day you find a companion as loyal as a Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
We fight fires together. We become a family. This family, everybody comes home.
Chicago Fire premieres October 10th on NBC5 Chicago.
The more you floor, the more you save. Buy 1 room of flooring, get all other rooms of product for only $50 each. At Luna, we work for you.
773-202 Luna.
Time out there, buddy.
Brian Urlacher?
That's me, here to defend you from DirecTV's so-called big deal. DirecTV raises your bill 100% after a year, and they lock you into a 2-year contract that could cost you over $2,500 bucks.
I can't afford that.
That's why your best play is Xfinity. The biggest plays on Sunday, live. The best of college football, and you can take the action wherever you go.
Hey, Brian.
No pixie dust, just pigskin. Yeah! Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call today.
We're thinking about this or the Honda Odyssey next door.
This one.
But the Odyssey has the best resale value in its class, according to KBB.com.
I wouldn't put too much value on cyber opinions.
And the Odyssey Touring is the most fuel-efficient 8-passenger minivan.
I wouldn't put too much value on things like that either.
It's actual research.
They'll give anybody a blog these days.
We'll see you later.
The Odyssey from Honda. Named most trusted brand in America by KBB.com. Only a Honda is a Honda.
We proudly present Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Unbelievable. You look at the Cubs schedule, and all of a sudden, just 2 games to go. We're set for Cubs baseball here from Wrigley Field tonight. It's game 2 of a 3-game series against the Houston Astros. And hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. Final night game of the year. Matinee to follow tomorrow, and then we'll wrap things up. The Cubs did suffer their 100th defeat last night. Disappointing, certainly, but now 2 games to go here, and Dale can maybe have some fun with his lineups.
Well, hopefully, Len. And this is a very bittersweet time of year for the players, for the coaches, because the reality is, the harsh reality is, some of these guys aren't going to be back next year. I think the Cubs team is going to take on a completely different look moving forward, and to think the guys you spent the better part of the last 7 months with every day, you might not see them again in the near future. That can be a tough pill to swallow.
And both managers still going to try to do everything they can to win the games here. They've got a lot of bullpen to use.
Well, in September, you always have plenty of arms to use down there in the bullpen. And fortunately, Dale hasn't had to overextend anybody down there, so I know the Cubs bullpen's in good shape. I would assume that the Astros are as well.
It'll be right-hander Bud Norris for the Astros, Chris Volstad for the Cubs. Norris gave up 3 home runs here back on June 29th in a Cubs 4-0 win. We'll see what transpires tonight. Coming up next.
Today's Business Travel Challenge, Departure Dash. The other airlines versus Southwest. These businessmen are making their way through the airport.
Slow going in security for that other airline's contestant.
Uh-oh, look at their boarding process.
What a mark!
But the Southwest contestant chose a business select fare. With fly-by security access and priority boarding, he's breezing through.
That other guy's going nowhere fast.
Be unstoppable with Business Select. Business travelers win with Southwest.
This is my business. I'm the owner and sole proprietor.
I only have one other employee, Chester.
It's a romantic notion. Be the boss, but you are alone.
Well, not technically alone.
I do have a lot of help, actually.
My UPS store.
I had this printed there. Packing, shipping, help.
Outstanding.
Toasters.
I have a mailbox there.
Best thing, they're right down the street. The owner's a friend.
I got the account.
My team.
Yes! Careful now.
Humans. Even when we cross our T's and dot our I's, we still run into problems. Namely, other humans. Which is why at Liberty Mutual Insurance, auto policies come with new car replacement and accident forgiveness if you qualify. Visit a local Chicago office for details. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Toyota. Right now, you can get a lot for less at your local Toyota dealer, official partner of the Chicago Cubs. The new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. BMO Harris Bank. Helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank. NA member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Well, the Cubs honoring several employees from Events Operations, Associates of the Year before the ball game. Gino Freeman, Supervisor. Derek Sohn, Guest Services Ambassador. Donna Ormond, Security Services. Jabari Davis, Exterior Guest Services. Kathy West, a Rising Star Rookie of the Year in Guest Services. And the Above and Beyond the Call of Duty and Expectations Award goes to John Opojkowicz. Congrats to all. Chris Volstad getting set for his final start, and he will face this Houston Astros Southwest starting lineup. Altuve leads it off. Scott Moore, the former Cub, is in right. Fernando Martinez has homered in 3 straight. Dominguez at third, Wallace at first, Jason Castro the catcher. You've got Justin Maxwell in center, Tyler Green the shortstop, and Bud Norris on the mound.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively here tonight. Soriano, Jackson, and DeJesus left to right across the outfield. Valbuena, Castro, Barney, Rizzo once again third to first across the infield. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for big, tall right-hander Chris Volstad.
Comes in at 3-11 on the season, and we are underway inside on Altuve. He's 4-1 in 7 career starts against the Astros. 1-1 in 2 outings this year. He beat the Astros on September 10th at Minute Maid Park. There's a strike, 1-1. 61 degrees, a north wind at 10 miles an hour. Final night game, the 30th of the year for the Cubs. That's a new franchise record. Anthony Rizzo will scoop. And 1 away. Let's get tonight's umpires. The crew chief works the plate. That's Wally Bell. John Tumpane over at first. Jim Wolf at second. And Ron Culpa is at third.
Len, we were talking about the harsh reality of possibly leaving some teammates and not seeing them again for a long time. But another better reality is if you finish strong, that's your most recent memory to carry into the offseason. Been a hugely disappointing season for Chris Volstad. If he could put together a really good outing here last time out, his last memory going into his off-season workouts will be a good one.
Behind Scott Moore, 2 balls, no strikes. The thing about baseball is 2 great teams can play a bad game and 2 mediocre teams can play a great game, and you just never know what you're going to get when you come to the ballpark. So while this game does not have any sort of significance externally, we might see something tonight we've never seen before. It happens all the time. Just fouled away.
Started to sound a little bit like Forrest Gump there, but I get your point. You're absolutely right. In a disappointing season for both of these ball clubs, you never know what you're going to see. I mean, the Astros would like to avoid a franchise record 107 losses on the season, so they're going to do everything they can to win these next 2 ball games, and you would hope the Cubs feel the same way.
Good comeback by Volstad as he strikes out Moore. 2 quick outs. Well, we'll get the historical stuff out of the way right off the bat. This tonight is the first matchup of teams with 100 losses since September of 1962, when the Cubs and the Mets matched up. And the Cubs with their third 100-loss season. We've got one bright side to it via Ed Hardig, who points out the last 2 times the Cubs lost 100 games, they were over 500 the following season.
That's why we love Ed.
That's right. We go to the bottom of the first. The Astros nothing, and the Cubs are coming up.
The first look is only the beginning. Introducing a stunning work of technology. Introducing the entirely new Lexus ES. And the first ever ES Hybrid. See your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer.
Step into the black. The new darker, bolder spice rum from Captain Morgan.
Wow, you guys have it easy. I wish I had Uverse when I was your age. In my day, we didn't have these fancy wireless receivers. If I had a sleepover, I couldn't just move the TV into the playroom. No, we had to watch movies in the den because that's where the TV outlet was. And if Dad was snoring on the couch, we muscled through it. For real? Your generation has it made.
The wireless receiver, only from AT&T Uverse. Get a free wireless receiver with a qualifying Uverse plan. Rethink possible.
Astros went quickly on just 11 pitches in the top of the first. Now the Cubs. And their starting 9 brought to you by Southwest. DeJesus in right, Barney at second, Anthony Rizzo at first. Alfonso Soriano, if he can put together 2 big games, possibly still could win the RBI title. You've got Castro at short, Valbuena at third. We'll see Josh Vitters most likely there tomorrow. Wellington Castillo back of the plate. Brett Jackson should start the final 2 with Volstad hitting 9th.
Here's how the Astros will line it up defensively. Fernando Martinez in left, Justin Maxwell in center, Scott Moore over in right field. It'll be Matt Dominguez and Tyler Green on the left side, Jose Altuve and Brett Wallace on the right side of the infield. Jason Castro once again doing the catching for right-hander Bud Norris. Coming off without a doubt his best start of the season against the Cardinals last time out, 7 1/3, gave up only 2 hits. Shut the Cardinals down, struck out 7, did not walk a batter.
And that ended a personal 12-game losing streak. It was his first win since he beat the Cubs on May 21st. He was 5-1 to start the year. And things went downhill for him. And he comes in at 6-13 so far. Also been battling some blister problems. He had the flu, had a scalp infection, but battling through it here at the end of the year. 1-2 on DeJesus.
You mentioned the 5-1 start to the season. Then he had an 0-3 June, an 0-3 July, an 0-3 August, and all 3 months his ERA was well over 5.5. But trying to finish strong here in the month of September.
And they were hovering around 500 around that time as a team, the Astros. Houston has been playing fairly well here lately, winning 4 of 5, and they've gone 14-14 since September 1st. And their pitching staff the last 2 days has dealt back-to-back shutouts. Lifted in the air, deep left center. It will be caught by Martinez, the left fielder. Wind did not help. In fact, probably kept it out of the seats.
A pretty brisk wind blowing most of the time straight in from center field. I don't think there's any doubt it had some effect on that when that ball really started to slice. It looked like Justin Maxwell was initially going to make the play, but it tailed all the way over to left field where Martinez was able to make the catch.
Now Darwin Barney had that 13-game hitting streak recently, went 18 for 44 for a 409 average, but just 6 hits now over his last 11 games since. And he takes a strike. Sharply hit on the ground. Altuve backhands, jump throw, he got him. What a play. A Darwin Barney-like play, moving far to his right.
And Darwin Barney just had a base hit taken away. He knows what he has done to other hitters in the National League all summer. Now what a great play by Altuve, searching for the grip as he made his jump in shallow center field and put the throw right on the money. Can't do it any better than that.
Nope, that's as smooth as it gets.
With that exchange from the glove to the hand while you're jumping and turning your body in midair, I can't describe how tough that is and how easy Altuve made it look.
There's a strike 1-1 on Anthony Rizzo. 15 homers, 15 doubles, 48 knocked in. Just over a half a season, 86 games at this level. Maxwell coming in, makes a grab to end the inning. Each pitcher goes 1, 2, 3 in the opening frame.
Save big money during the Menards Oktoberfest sale. Finish projects fast with the Wagner Pro Coat Sprayer. It works great for paint, stain, and sealers with no thinning and pulls right from the can or bucket. Just $169 after rebate. Treat your water in 2 easy steps with help from Morton. The whole house water filtration system is $269. Get a handle on hard water with this 34,000 grain water softener, $398.
Save big money at Menards.
Frost-brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Hey fans, don't miss the exciting opportunity to go behind the scenes of the legendary home of the Chicago Cubs with Wrigley Field Tours. Take a trolley to get to Wrigley Field for the tour, as Chicago Trolley Company is now providing transportation to Wrigley Field through their Northside Neighborhood Tour.
Well, you see him behind home plate at every game here at Wrigley Field. Highland Park resident, the pink hat guy, Jim Annixter. He's going to conduct the 7th inning stretch tonight. Threw out a ceremonial first pitch. The hat made its debut over 20 years ago. He was at the 1990 All-Star game here at Wrigley. Pink hats were given out the night before, and he's been wearing it ever since. Dominguez, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Said he started wearing the pink hat so his wife would know where he was sitting at the ball game.
Yeah,
not hard to see him.
We often have people ask us, who is that guy? Well, now you know.
Now you know.
And we'll sing the stretch, brought to you by Captain Morgan. Well, Volstead not wasting any time here tonight. Taking a page out of Lucas Harrell's book last night. Astros rookie right-hander, very impressive. A roller to Barney. According to Elias, Lucas Harrell winning his final start last night to finish the year at 11-11. Over the past 50 years, the only other rookie to win at least 10 games and go 500 or better for the team with the worst record in baseball was Tom Seaver, 16-13 for the 61-101 New York Mets, 1967. Nice play by Volstead as he'll get Wallace.
Nice play by Chris Volstead on a soft comebacker off the bat of Brent Wallace. Reaches across to the backhand side, maintains his balance, and throws on to first for the out. I'll tell you what, Len, Lucas Harrell, we've seen him a couple times really good. When he's keeping that sinker down at the bottom of the strike zone, he works fast as well, keeps his defense on their toes. He's looked really good a couple times against the Cubs.
Now, rookie or otherwise, I think the widely acknowledged best pitching performance on a bad team in the history of baseball was Steve Carlton in 1972, pitching for the 59 and 97 Philadelphia Phillies. He went 27-10. with a 1.97 ERA and 41 starts. He completed 30 of them and went over 346 innings. Pretty remarkable.
346 innings. The Phillies probably would have liked to pitch him about 300 more.
Well, the old Braves adage was spawn and sane and pray for rain. What was the Phillies? Carlton. We win with Carlton, we lose with everybody else. That's deep to right and gone. Jason Castro with a home run. The Astros pulling up the rear in the majors in terms of runs scored. 577 now after that home run. Castro with his 4th homer in his last 7 games.
A backdoor slider that just kind of spun up there. I think it was a slider. We'll take another look here. Yeah, just never really took the break. Just kind of hung out there over the plate for Jason Castro. Enough off speed that his bat catches up and just does tuck it into the front row of the bleachers in right.
Fouled back by Maxwell, so 1-0 Houston. Now the rest of that rotation. Carlton went 27-10. Ken Reynolds went 2-15. Bill Champion went 4-14. Woody Fryman 4-10. And another starter made 8 starts, 9 games in all. Jim Nash went 0-8. I think if you added up the other 3 main starters' innings, they probably barely matched Carlton. Incredible. And Castro had that one go under his glove. Maxwell's going to try to make it to second. The throw there, a little late. He had the range to his left and is charged with an error. It is right under the mitt.
Right under the glove. Maybe misjudged the speed of that ground ball just a little bit. I talk a lot about topspin grounders. Occasionally that ball will accelerate a little bit more than you think because of the topspin, and Starlin just didn't get his glove down. Good hustle by Justin Maxwell to turn the corner and get himself into scoring position with 2 outs.
Former Cardinal Tyler Green playing short and a base hit to right. Maxwell will be sent by Dave Clark. Throws cut off by Rizzo. The run scores. And Green never tagged. Safe. He got back to first. Darwin Barney saying he went out of the baseline. Dale Swaim's going to argue the same call with John Tumpane. Inning continues 2-0 Houston. Dale's really upset.
This has happened to the Cubs a couple times this year on similar plays where the base runner appeared to go out of the baseline to avoid a tag. Get another look at it. Darwin does exactly what, I mean, come on. I mean, Darwin Barney himself is probably a good 3 feet out of the baseline, and Tyler Green went even further than that to avoid the tag. Unfortunately, nobody behind Darwin, so once Green clears him right here, there's nobody there to cover the bag at first because the way the defense got shifted on the base hit into right field. How is that not going out of the baseline to avoid a tag?
So an unearned run. Remember, Maxwell reached on the error. And here's the pitcher, Norris. You getting out the rule book?
Yeah, I don't know. There has to be an explanation because Dale went down without getting ejected. So apparently the explanation was good enough to satisfy him, at least temporarily.
It's foul. 2 strikes on Norris. A swing and a miss to end the inning. 2 runs for the Astros, 1 earned on the homer by Castro, 1 unearned.
So it's between this or the Honda Civic next door.
Okay, done. This one.
They say the Civic is the best-selling car in its class.
It's possible.
It also has this cool econ button that helps maximize fuel efficiency.
Oh yeah, this car has a lot of buttons. Get a defrost button, radio button, cruise control button, window button, wiper button, trunk button, super button, buttons inside of buttons, buttons controlling other buttons.
We're just interested in the econ button.
That's one button. This is a car with many buttons.
The Civic from Honda. 39 mpg highway and a way to help you make the most of it. Only a Honda is a Honda.
He slaughtered our brothers. Will not rest until his blood flows. Run. My turn. Taken 2. Rated PG-13.
Jack Link's Jerky presents Snackin' with Sasquatch. Feed your wild side.
While America's military men and women are supporting the cause of freedom around the globe, you can help Midas support them through Chicago-based Operation Support Our Troops America, a volunteer organization that provides support services for active duty, veterans, and their families. Please drop off your item donations for care and comfort packs for the troops at your nearby Chicagoland Midas. For a list of needed items, stop in at Midas or go to MidasChicago.com. Midas, total car care, total customer care.
It's a new era at Wrigley Field. Be part of it with Vine Line, the official magazine of the Chicago Cubs. Vine Line gives you insider access to the best of the Cubs, past, present, and future. Subscriptions start at just $29.95. To subscribe, visit Cubs.com/VineLine. You can also pick up the latest issue at the Cubs store across from Wrigley Field or at select newsstand locations.
Cubs were shut out 3-0 last night. They had just 2 hits, and the final 18 batters were retired by Houston pitching. And they went 1-2-3 in the first tonight. Let's go back to June 29th. Norris gave up 3 home runs as Soriano took him deep. And the Cubs win.
Love the reaction of Chris Snyder, the catcher, on that home run. He didn't even want to watch it.
So Norris working with a 2-0 advantage, and a fastball pumped in there at 92 for a strike. Normally a veteran like Soriano might get a day off here at the end of the season, but Dale's going to give him a chance to knock in some runs, considering he's 3rd in the National League with 108. Trailing leader Chase Headley by 5. Ryan Braun is 4 ahead of him as he swings and misses for strike 3.
We showed you Norris' assortment of pitches at the top of the show. Good fastball, good hard slider right here to Alfonso Soriano. Look at the downward movement as that ball gets into the hitting zone. Also throws an occasional straight changeup, but against Soriano you're going to see a lot of high fastballs and a lot of sliders off the outside corner.
Norris, a 6th round pick in 06, born in Green Bay, California, went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And ball 1 to Starlin Castro. Tale of 2 years for Norris, kind of like we talked about with Lucas Harrell, but even more drastic. At home this season, Norris went 4-1 with a 1.71 ERA. That was in 11 starts. 2-12 on the road with a 7.41. This is his 18th start. So Brad Mills and Tony DeFrancesco, they got to look back and figure out how they could have changed the schedule to make him pitch at home more often.